It was a sunny morning in Mount Vernon, and young George Washington was feeling heroic. He had a new hat, a shiny jacket, and the best wooden axe a young boy could hope for. Today, he was going to chop down the cherry tree. Not just any tree, the legendary cherry tree that everyone in town whispered about, and he would do it like a true hero. George approached the tree confidently, raising his axe. "Today is the day. I will show Father that I am honest, brave, and extremely good at woodcutting," he muttered. But just as he lifted the axe, something incredible happened. The cherry tree spoke. "Yes, finally. Someone is here to listen," it shouted in a surprisingly cheerful voice. George froze. "Wait, did you just talk?" "Yes, I talk," the tree said, swaying its branches dramatically. "And you, young Washington, are going to regret trying to chop me down." George blinked. "Regret? I just wanted to, show, Father, I am honest." "Oh, I know you're honest," the tree replied, "but I'm also hilarious, sarcastic, and a little bit sassy. So let's make this interesting." The tree dropped a cherry on George's head like a tiny cannonball. "Catch me if you can," it yelled. George ducked, but the cherry bounced off his shoulder and rolled into the mud. He sighed. "Okay, this is new." Determined to chop the tree, George swung the axe butt. The tree moved. It twisted and turned like a professional dodgeball champion, branches flailing and leaves tickling George's face. "Stop moving. That's cheating," George shouted. The tree laughed. "Cheating? I'm a tree. Everything I do is nature's law. And also, funny." George tried again, swinging his axe carefully, but the tree retaliated by shaking its branches violently, sending a rain of cherries onto George's head, sticking to his hair and jacket. "Ah, it's raining cherries," he yelled, looking like a walking fruit salad. Then came the ultimate challenge. The tree's biggest branch stretched out like a long arm and grabbed George's hat, tossing it into the air. "Catch me if you can," it shouted. George leaped, arms flailing, almost hitting a passing squirrel. He missed the hat entirely. The squirrel caught it, and George had to bow in respect. "All right, fine. You're sneaky." The townspeople peeked over the fence. "Is George fighting a tree?" one whispered. Another nodded. "Yep, that's Mount Vernon for you." George, exhausted but determined, tried to reason with the tree. "Okay, I promise I won't lie to Father about chopping you down. Just please, let me finish the job." The tree paused dramatically. Honesty, you say? Let me think. Yes, I like that, but only if you admit I am hilarious." George hesitated. "Well, you are pretty funny." The tree giggled, sending a shower of blossoms into the air. "Deal. I will let you chop just a little, but only a small branch. No full destruction. We're friends now, right?" George nodded eagerly. "Absolutely friends." He carefully swung his axe and chopped a small branch. The tree yelped playfully. "Ouch, that tickled." Then it dropped a cherry into George's hand as a reward. "You're learning, young hero, and remember, honesty isn't just about chopping trees. It's about admitting when a tree is funnier than you expected." George laughed, brushing cherry juice off his jacket. "All right, you win." For today, as he ran back to tell his father, he couldn't stop giggling. The story would go down in history, not just as the cherry tree tale, but as the epic adventure of George Washington versus the talking cherry tree, a tale of bravery, honesty, fruit salad, hairstyles, and the sassiest tree in Virginia. Later, historians would write, George Washington, the first president of the United States, learned honesty at a young age, and also that sometimes trees talk, and sometimes they are hilarious. And somewhere, deep in the orchard, the cherry tree whispered to itself, "Next time, I'm bringing squirrels and a marching band." This is only the beginning, because when a tree talks, even the bravest boy can't help but laugh, dodge cherries, and realize that history is a lot funnier than the textbooks make it seem.